The future of how Toronto is being built up and laid out over the next 30 years is now up for discussion, with City Hall reviewing its official plan for things like housing and transit. Only it has to grapple with decisions in the past and how the city has grown up to this point.
There is a huge lack in housing for people that have kids and that don't make $200,000 a year. So that would be my suggestion to the city.
How to afford to live is top of mind for many in Toronto today, as is the inability to move around or find the services you need close by. That's what happens when the population grows by 1.5 million people over the last couple of decades.
We are experiencing a whole series of what I would call problems of success, which are interesting, but they demand new answers, new approaches, and this review of the official plan is a great opportunity to do that.
Condos crowd the downtown core, but without the schools, community centers, libraries, and parks to back them up.
We've gone tall or sprawl. You have some areas that are very tall and other areas around the city that are quite sprawling, where you've seen very little change. And so this is a moment now to look at where we've succeeded.
We had a vision for the city about areas that wouldn't change that much, other areas that would change a little, and some areas that would change a lot. Maybe we could have done a little bit better on transit, but we're catching up big time right now.
Sure, the Eglinton Crosstown is actually being built, but grand plans for more trains and transit corridors over decades have yet to be fully realized. Some simply want more room to drive.
I think the road situation is a major concern, given the fact that they're talking about exponential growth.
Meanwhile, those in lower income communities throughout the city are struggling to get by, with little support or opportunity for work.
We've become much more sensitive to this idea of displacement and the idea that certain communities, even when growth happens, they often get pushed aside or gentrification happens. These are racialized communities, low-income communities, newcomer communities.
Some of our communities have been left out of this conversation, and part of the process that we're holding right now is to engage more inclusively the communities and people who may have felt that they're not experiencing any change. They're not experiencing any improvement in their lives.
So the city is reaching out this time around with a series of public meetings and focus groups as part of what it calls Our Plan Toronto, to get more people across the city involved in the process. The first one is set for this coming Wednesday, with an online survey already available. Mark McAllister, City News.